Hello, everyone, and welcome to Anecdotes with Alex, a podcast hosted by me, Alex. Today, I want to share two quotes from Sylvia Plath taken from her Unabridged journals. Lately, my favorite pastime has been to hop on Pinterest and look for poetry or writing that really resonates with me. And I usually often struggle with knowing how to verbalize my own emotions and feelings. And honestly, I found that it's super helpful to find other people's writings or thoughts. And it just kind of helps me come to terms basically with what I'm feeling and also just helps me feel less alone. So, the specific quotes I really, really liked. And also, complete disclaimer, my voice sounds terrible because I'm still recovering from being sick and this cough won't go away. But the specific quotes I wanted to share are: I know pretty much what I like and dislike, but please don't ask me who I am. And then the second one is: what horrifies me most is the idea of being useless, well educated, brilliantly promising, and fading out into an indifferent middle age. Oh, Sylvia. Oh, Sylvia. Girl, me too. And these connected with me almost immediately because I'm a recovering gifted child. One moment I felt like I had the world in my hands. I could eat this world up. I was a menace. And then the next day I completely was like succumbed to the grimy claws of mental illness. And now I sometimes struggle to even get out of the bed in the morning and, you know, stay clean basically. And this just kind of made me think about how tragic it is that at such a young age, we're often put into these boxes or we're told, like, you got to make it big and you have to have a really stable career. And it seems like everybody has their 2 cents on what success and stability and, just being quote unquote well off is. And you're kind of led to believe, at least this is speaking for myself, I feel like I was led to believe that I had to change the world radically and like in order to be useful to the world, in order to be meaningful, to have some sort of lasting legacy. And this is something that I have been really, really struggling with. I'd say mostly for like the last 6 months or so. Um, as I'm nearing the end of my college time and I have no damn clue what I'm going to do with my degree. I don't know if I want a 9 to 5 job because that was really crippling to me. Um, just everything that kind of dogpiles at you at once. And so for me, it was just, I don't know how to put it. Like, it's so overwhelming and it's really hard to recover from the narrative that you have to be something grand or else you're nothing. Right. And my little mental breakdown, as I was saying, was mostly about like I have no legacy to leave behind. Like there's nothing I have done for the world. There's no lasting impact from me. I can hardly get through college without failing a class every single term. Um, I don't have a house yet. I don't have anything. My savings don't look so good. I'm transitioning out of a career in the military and there's just so much shit that's been going on, but it seems like I have done nothing. And then by the same token, like you are kind of like this thing of like the jack of, I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. I can't remember the rest of the saying, but regardless, that's what it feels like when you get to a point in your life when you kind of have been taught to do as much as you can at all times, but somehow that's only what matters. Like nobody really cares if like there's a follow through, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And so for me, that kind of like ties in with that second quote I shared, about just fading out into a middle age. And then one day I'll probably be a suburban soccer mom. Let's pray that it's not a damn van. I would rather drive anything. I'd rather on foot. I do not like vans. Anyways, and then I feel like this kind of to me relates to that first quote about like, please just don't ask me who I am because I don't fucking know. I feel like I have been on this grind to just feel useful to the world, to seem like I'm fulfilling this promise of being a gifted person that has so much to give to the world that I don't know who I am. I am just a collection of what everybody else told me to be. And it's terrible because you're trying to go through the world and then somebody asks you, well, what do you do for fun? And you're gagged. I was so gagged. I don't know. I don't know what I do on my free time. I don't know what I like to do on my free time. I just know, that I'm always working or I'm always having to do homework or XYZ, right? Or people will ask me to describe myself, like in interviews or whatever. And I just never know. And the first thing that always comes to mind is hardworking. And while that's something that I do pride myself in being, and I do value people or somebody working hard, I think there's also this kind of concept that I grew up with that if you are not working to the maximum limits, maximum capacity, pedal to the metal, full throttle every single day and you're just not working that hard, you're lazy. You're useless. Don't why bother? And that has led me to being somebody who doesn't rest. I don't know how to relax. This term I decided to take 0 classes. I decided to just work. That's all I'm going to be doing. Part-time work, taking care of my dog, just being around the house basically. And I just it's so hard for me to not have something to do, which is something that I probably actually need to, talk to a therapist about. But it has been so hard for me to just be home for the term started last Monday. It's been literally a week. I've already gone crazy the entire damn week. I am crying all the time. I don't know what to do. I would just want to go outside and spend money or constantly stay distracted by, watching random shows or watching random videos that I don't even really like pay attention to or listen to music or podcasts. And a lot of the time I'll find myself like I'm not even almost listening. I'm just trying to drown something out. And in that realization, I kind of realized that for me, working hard made it about kind of like the praise. What does it look like? Like I want to be recognized for all my hard work. And in fact, this year specifically, I've realized how bitter and kind of angry it makes me feel when people outside of my circle don't praise me for the hard work that I put in and the care and thought I put into things. Um, which is really interesting because then that kind of leads to like you feel almost entitled in a way for people's praise. But anyways, that's a conversation for another day about like entitlement or whatever. But anyways, as I was saying, hard work for me became more about praise and what that looks like to other people. How do I look like to other people? And in a way, it became more about working for others. What can I do for you? How can I work hard for you? And then now that I'm 23, I'm trying to like, self-care, I guess, and take care of myself and know myself. And I'm like, God damn it. Like I've worked so hard for other people my entire life. And guess what? I have not worked at all for myself. I don't know who I am. I don't know what's going on with me. I don't know my mind, my emotions, my body. I just am lost in the sauce, in my own sauce, basically. I really don't know because I've never worked for myself in the sense that I've never done things just for myself. Like, I don't work out just because I like to work out. I work out because the army tells me I have to work out. Like, I don't even like lifting weights like that. That's something that I came to that kind of dawned on me this week specifically, again because I have nothing to do except sit with my thoughts all day. It's just that I don't even like working out. I like to walk, maybe go on a run every once in a while. which is very interesting because for one of my hobbies, I always say weightlifting. Girl, you don't even like lifting weights. And so it's that kind of stuff that makes me realize, like, you really, all that promise or quote unquote promise and gifts that people say you had, specifically had, that irritates you. And like, what happened to you? Like, you were so da 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 da, or you had all this. And it's like, well, damn, what, like, this is some sort of narrative that you made about me, that you now expect me to fulfill the idea of me that you had. And you're quite shocked to realize that I'm actually not that at all. But when I was younger, and even now, like, I kind of fed into that idea to avoid disappointing you, and keep up this facade of I'm such a hard worker, and I'm just here to do what you need me to do, and kind of just be the apple of everybody's eye almost. And then on top of that, that to me feels like I've almost been living in a state of self neglect, and just it's just like I'm living a fat lie, because I'm I've been putting up this front of, this is, I am who you think I am, but knowing damn well internally that that's not really truly how I am or who I am. And this is super interesting. Um, I listened to this podcast called Se Regalan Dudas. I can't remember the specific episode. I'll link it in the description. But um, they just, the host and their guest was talking about self neglecting, and that stuck with me because I think it's like self betrayal, I guess. And it was so amazing to me to think about how I think I've been self betraying for as long as I can remember, because I've lived so, like, unauthentically, inauthentically, whatever, however you pronounce that. Because there's things like I just didn't want to do or wanted to do that I was told either I couldn't do, or I just kind of lied to myself into saying I couldn't do it, or chickened out of it, or didn't have the support, regardless. And that is so sad, especially when you think about being kids and when we're so just innately curious about the world. And people kind of shut doors for you in a way. For me, this is a very specific example, and I love my parents, but this is something that has always kind of stuck with me. So I I actually do like sports. I would have loved to play soccer as a kid. I asked to. And I played tennis for a couple of years, and actually I still play tennis with my boyfriend whenever it's nice out. Like, we started back last summer, and that has brought me so much joy, and it's so much fun to be competitive and just be outdoors and just have fun. But as a kid, there was always this narrative. I was a little bit on the chunkier side. I was a little bit on the heavier side as a kid. And there was just always this concept, no matter what I did, it was, you're just like a little bit slow, or like, oh, it's just Alex is a little slow, and you just move slower than other people, or just things that it just were shutting doors for me already. Like, why, instead of saying I'm slow, why didn't you maybe nurture that curiosity for a sport, so that maybe I wouldn't be the slowest on the team, so that maybe I could become athletic, instead of just kind of outright saying I wasn't cut out for a sport, right? And things like that, I feel like, have been kind of the motor, I guess, for my self betrayal since I was a kid, because now I just shut my own doors. I'm the one that's responsible for myself. However, I still find myself in these same patterns of, "Ugh, I'm too slow. Like, I could never be on the city team for XYZ sport." And it's, why? Why can't I? There's nothing stopping me. And that's something that I really struggle with getting out of my head and saying, well, why can't I? And that's something that my boyfriend has actually been super helpful with, because he'll say, well, why not? What's stopping you? And it gags me every time, because that's the truth. Who is stopping me? Who's stopping you from living your best life? And anyways, basically, let me, I feel like I'm dragging this out. Sorry. But basically, it's just so interesting, I guess, to see kind of maybe the mess that was created as like a child or a teen, and now being in early adulthood, kind of seeing the pieces that you are left to pick up, and how now you are responsible for taking control of your life, and kind of being self-aware and taking accountability of the part that you do play in your own struggles now, because nobody can fix it now. You have to. I mean, you can go to a therapist, they can only give you the tools. You could be in therapy for your entire damn life, and you could really still end up being the same person as the first day you were when you walked in through the door. But, it's ultimately, for me, almost the empowerment of knowing that it is now in my own hands, and that I have full autonomy and control of my situation, or at least making the best of my situation, and having the reins on my life, and knowing that I can create the life I want to live. But anyways, yeah, so those two quotes were just, this is kind of what it like brought up in me when I read them. I think I saved them last night or 2 nights ago, and I just found them to be fascinating because I kind of, you know, just swim between these two thoughts always, like, oh my god, I'm going to waste, and I don't know who I am. This is two terrible things. I'm entering my quarter life crisis already, damn. And I don't know, that's kind of the emotions that it took from me and brought up in me, and I just wanted to share that. And I guess maybe if anybody listens, tell you that it's time, pal. It's time to take the reins and hold ourselves accountable, and be honest with ourselves, and just take back our lives, take back the things that we missed out on, or that we think were taken from us, or were perhaps stolen from us, and heal towards a life that, we think is worth living and worth waking up every single day for. So, yeah. Anyways, this was kind of a long one. And thank you so much for listening until the end. And we'll see you next week for another musing. Have a wonderful day, and bye.